Hello, everyone, and welcome again with another speaker. And we are here with Angela, and I will let her introduce herself. So, how are you doing, Angela? And
Oh, I'm fantastic. Thank you so much for having me here. Uh, I,
welcome.
this is exciting. I love working with intuitives and empaths. My name is Dr. Angela MartinKing. I started my career as a chiropractic doctor and fell in love with energy work because I realized while I was working with a lot of my clients and my patients, there was a lot of energy work going on underneath regular healing. And so, um, yeah, my journey has been transforming to work with highly sensitive people and highly sensitive professionals. So I'm so excited to come here and share some wisdom with everyone.
Oh, awesome. And we will love to hear more about you. And how did you started and how do you know that you are an empath? I mean, was it since starting, since childhood or later on?
Well, I had very intuitive abilities as a child. I lived on a farm and we had a lot of animals, and I didn't have any friends. And so I was very in touch with the animals and nature and plants. And as a young child, I believed that everybody was like that. I didn't know that it was a unique ability. And then I went to, I went to school like any other young child and realized that it was different, that other children did not,
Oh,
communicate with their animals. They didn't connect with nature the way that I did. And eventually I closed it down because the science and knowledge and wisdom that kind of took over. But when I
hmm.
became a doctor and started to realize that there was a lot more going on with my patients than just physical healing and using medicines and stuff like that, when I realized that we were doing energy work and body work and I was helping them heal old wounds inside their mental and emotional state, then I realized that there was something more to it. um, One of, I guess, the most profound gift I have is the ability to help others heal, which
Hmm.
makes sense to become a doctor, right? But it's ability to find the wounds and the pieces and the old hurts in someone that are more than just physical. So the thoughts, the beliefs, the experiences, the emotions that need to be healed, and have this ability to help people find the path to healing for themselves and ignite that healing inside of them. So I guess I'm an energetic healer, if you want to call me that. Yeah.
Oh, awesome, awesome. So, do you work with in clinic, or are you working as a coach or um, like that?
Oh, good question.
Because
Both.
as you are a doctor, because you are a doctor, and if anyone will hear this, they will think that you work at hospital or clinic and you're an empath. So how do you work with
Well,
work
that's
balance?
what a great question, because I do both, but I'm
Hmm.
mostly an empath. Work mostly on the coaching, spiritual guidance. I actually train empathics and intuitive how to use their gifts in a way that's healthy for them, because a lot of us don't use them in a healthy way. That's how I became a doctor, because I was also going through what a lot of people watching are going through, the pain, the overwhelming emotions, the feeling that you need to withdraw from society because you don't know how to protect yourself when you're going out in public, especially right now with what's going on in the world. So I suffered what a lot of people watching right now are suffering right now. I suffered that when I was about 4 years into my doctor career. And it was because I didn't have enough protection. I didn't know how to manage energy that was flowing through my room. I wasn't aware that I was soaking up everything like a sponge. And so what happened is that I actually went through a really bad injury. And I work with the unconscious mind. So if anybody out there doesn't know what that is, sometimes it's called the subconscious. But your subconscious mind is actually the gateway to intuitive abilities. And if your subconscious mind is filled with beliefs that don't serve you, or emotional blockages, or old traumas, then what happens is your intuitive abilities are blocked and transmuted to being like shadow. So they feel really yucky and you start to absorb things like a sponge. And so
Mm.
my unconscious mind created, you're going to laugh, created a massive injury in order to get me out of my career. So I spent 2 years recovering, and while I was recovering and healing this injury, I started to learn all of the spiritual practices. I started to work with the unconscious mind. I got trained as a hypnotherapist. And and I started to work with things like the Akashic records. And I was searching everywhere for all of the answers and training with all of these different practitioners because the first path was healing myself.
Mm.
And in healing myself, my abilities blossomed. And I realized that a lot of the people that worked with me as a chiropractor, as a doctor, were very intuitive as well. And that's why we were able to help each other, but they
Mm.
also needed more healing. So, yeah, it's been quite a journey to learn all of this. And I love stepping out and teaching it to others too, because I know how many people are suffering, especially professionals that are out there. Like, there are a lot of professional doctors, nurses, psychotherapists, even support workers like home care workers and even coaches that are going through this, what we I think of it as a silent suffering, because they think they need to know the answers, don't they?
Mm.
Yeah,
Exactly.
you have you ever been there where you think you need to know the answers?
Exactly.
Yeah, and we need to ask for help. So that's who I love to work with, is those that are already helping others but don't know how to help themselves. Yeah.
That is something we all, as an empath, do. We learn things and we just help others. We are here to help. And this is so awesome because when you said that your body actually brought up that injury for you to
Hmm.
walk on that path, to the spiritual path, actually, right? So
Yeah.
that happened to me recently. I had 5 minor accidents in 6 months. So that was because my body was asking me to listen to me, listen to me. I can
Yes.
resonate with you.
Oh, the body is magical. And what I
Yes.
find is a lot of empaths, those that get the feelings are really heavy. If they're not listening to their body's message, or there's old trauma in their body will either do one of two things. It'll make you hurt yourself, so you pay attention, which is what happened to me. Funny enough, the injury I went through took out my entire right upper arm. And you can't be a chiropractor if you don't have an arm that works. It's fine now, it's all good. Um, or if it doesn't bring you to injury, what it does is creates disease. And I don't want to call it disease because that's a, Western medicine diagnosis, but it creates something called dis-ease, which manifests as a disease. And what I see a lot of intuitive and sensitive people show up with is things like anxiety, depression, mental problems or mental health issues, autoimmune disease, or any kind of disease where the chemicals in their body aren't functioning properly. And so I'm a very different type of intuitive worker. I actually work with mostly your mind body connection, because that mind body channel needs to be cleared for us to really tap into our gifts.
Hmm.
And whenever I see a repeating pattern like yours, the question always is, what are we missing? What message is the body trying to give us that we're not listening to or we're not aware of? And sometimes it's a protective measure. I like 5 times is a lot, isn't it? Last summer,
Exactly.
I I get it. Last summer, I went through a period where I gave myself a minor concussion. I hit my head and got dizzy, but I did it 4 times in a row within a 3-week period. And it was the message that was coming through was to slow down, take some time off, connect with nature, connect with myself again, anchor into the earth, because there was a profound change coming. And I needed to regenerate my energy before that change came through so that I could be a great support for everyone else. So, Yeah, I can
Mhm.
imagine that you had a tough time taking in the message, didn't you? Yeah.
It's like you are hitting yourself just like that. You need to rest. That's all. So,
Yep.
talking
Yep.
about science, and as you are talking about psychology, mental health, I started um, 3 years ago. Invested in master's degree for learning psychology, and I
Nice.
have been psychologist and spiritualist, both of them. I'm trying to balance it. So how do you balance as a doctor, and talk about how, what kind of people do you meet in hospitals and clinic, and how do you manage to balance as a doctor and spiritualities, or
Oh,
as an empath or spiritual person?
oh, I love that question because the truth is, I don't balance it anymore. I mean, when I first meet someone, if I'm in my doctor role, they'll meet me as Dr. Angela. But once we get to know each other just a little bit, they'll realize that I'm a different type of doctor because there's a misconception that science and spirituality have to be separate. And the truth is, you've learned this, you're learning psychology. They're really one and the same. There's just a gap between the explanation of science and
Hmm.
spirituality. And so I work a lot with the connecting pieces, which is quantum physics, the chemicals of the body. If you've ever done any research on how the chemicals of the body, Candace Pert, how the chemicals of the body, the neurotransmitters, actually produce emotions, and emotions are what spread through our body. We think it's neurotransmitters, which is true, but they actually channel emotions through our body, and how powerful those emotions are to enact change. So there's a lot of science in the background, um, that you can research in, and there is a bridge between the two. And the best part for me in learning this was finding that bridge for myself, because I felt like I was being split in half. When in reality, there are people that understand science more, and there's people that understand spirituality more. My job is to help them bridge that gap and bring it together so they know that they can be a whole person, like that whole belief. And then we open the door to curiosity, because curiosity is what creates that bridge and helps us fill in that gap and find out those missing pieces. And I find it a lot of fun. So I love what you're doing. That was exactly what I did. I had these two parts of myself that didn't mix together, and I found a way to bring them together, kind of like making oil and vinegar salad dressing. You just got to shake it up a bit and get all the
Exactly.
particles to mesh, and
I'm
it tastes so much better when they're together, right?
I'm trying to balance both of these things. And then I realized that I have to calm down. As you said, I stopped balancing things, because
Mhm.
at some moment you come to a point where you stop balancing. And so, how did your family helped you as an empath? Because most of people are not supported by families or spouse. How did
Mhm.
your family support you?
My family, half of my family was super supportive, even though they didn't talk about it. And the other half of my family ignored it. They kind of hid it underneath the covers. When I was a child, my father's side of the family is the side that supported it. And it wasn't that they did it outright. My father was a dreamer, he was a visionary. And it turns out, as I grew up and realized that one of my gifts is animal communication, that every single one of my family on my father's side was an animal communicator. There was a natural connection to animals and to the earth. And so, what I experienced was, even though they never talked about it, I watched my father's side of the family do things with animals that others couldn't. Now, on my mother's side of the family, they were very religious. And so my mother's side of the family followed the church.
Mhm.
But in the background, I found out later, my grandmother, when I opened a cupboard, I think I was probably 6 years old. I opened a cupboard, and in the cupboard was crystals and tarot cards that my grandmother would play with and do a routine. every week. And I didn't know about it. And so I forgot about that as I grew up until one day I was talking to my aunt, and when we were talking about the spiritual practices that I was learning how to do, and she said, "Did you know that grandmother used to do tarot cards and work with crystals?" And so that was a big surprise to me because on her side of the family, it was kind of like a we just didn't talk about it. But I think I'm one of the lucky empaths, intuitive, spiritual people that actually wasn't taught how to do it, but also wasn't taught not to. And so I had the ability to be a little curious and explore on my own. And it's a really beautiful thing to have. I know most people don't have that. Um, but the wonderful thing is, if you don't have that support, it's you can reach out and find your own little community, your own group, just like you've got, right? To be able to be practicing and talk about these things and share experiences.
Exactly. So, as you were saying about your mother's side of family, I got goosebumps actually. And this is so awesome that we don't know about our ancestors, but still we are connected somehow. So, what are the different things like you are into hypnotherapy and everything that helps us? What woo woo things are you into? Like, we call it boo boo things to
Oh,
differentiate.
what am I not into? When you start researching something and you want to learn about it and you go down a rabbit hole, um, there are lots of things that I'm into. You can see on the back, right now I'm learning about the moon cycles. Um,
Oh.
a couple years ago, a girlfriend of mine said to me, Angela, do you realize that every time we hit a new moon cycle, when we hit the full moon, you start talking about a new program or something new you're developing, and you put it out there in the world? And I laughed, and so I started doing this thing with my practice that I would promote things on the full moon, and on the new moon I would go in and just take care of my clients, and it turned into a lovely flow cycle for growing, expanding, and then of course taking care of myself when I needed it. So I love moon cycles. I also love the power of essential oils. That's one of the things that I love, because essential oils, I don't know if you know this, maybe not everybody out there knows it. Essential oils used the right way can clear chakras. They get absorbed into the body within 20 seconds. Within 20 seconds, there is essential oils within every cell of your body. And what they can do is become a vehicle for helping you release old stuff. Now, they don't do it on their own, but what they do is it's like essential oils are opening a gateway so that you can release things a lot easier. So I love doing that. I work with the Akashic records. Do you know what those are? Yeah,
Talk about it.
oh my gosh. Akashic records are beautiful. Akashic records are the energetic library of who you are. It's like your soul's experience, all of your soul's experiences in there, all of your encoding, your blueprint, your essence, your past life experience, your experiences on other timelines, and what would have happened if you made different choices. All of that is encoded in what we call the Akashic records. It's beyond the quantum field. So the quantum field is our reality field where we can actually connect with matter. The Akashic record is beyond matter. It's like the potential field. And so I work with the Akashic record to help people to heal things in the past, to heal things sometimes in the what almost happened but didn't happen. One time I was working with a client who almost passed away in an accident. And they were really upset because they went through this accident and they were very badly hurt. And while we were doing some work on it, we went into the Akashic records and tapped into another timeline and found out that in that other timeline, the person had passed away. And it wasn't that they did anything wrong in that timeline, but their body had not been able to react quick enough to save themselves. And so we were able to come back into the timeline that this person is in and allow them to let go of everything attached to their accident, because the alternate timeline was going to be death. And they didn't realize that their body had saved them in that moment. And they had to forgive themselves for thinking that they were mad at their body. So we can use the Akashic records for a lot of different things, and they're super powerful. For instance, when I opened the Akashic records of myself and cleared up some of my old stuff, that was when my intuitive gifts exploded. That's when they really
Oh.
heightened. It was they amplified 1,000% in the next 6 months because I was tapped into my soul.
Hmm.
So a lot of the work that I do bridges the mind and the body and the soul and brings down those gifts from the soul into our physical reality so we can really use them. So I don't know if that
Hmm.
explains it, but it's certainly a fun explanation.
Oh my God. I love to try Akashic Records. I tried it, and
Mhm.
uh, during meditation, I think I opened my Akashic Records, but I'm not sure if I can do it or not. I haven't tried it for anyone else, but it is so exciting.
It is so exciting. What I will recommend to anybody that wants to do Akashic Records work is that you go to somebody who's trained in it first.
Hmm.
Um, it's just like anything spiritual. They often give us more access when we have a guide, and that human guide, it's usually a human guide, like a real life human,
Hmm.
will protect you and guide you and make sure that your experience is safe. Because sometimes going out into the realm of the unknown is scary. I remember going out into the realm once and getting lost in space.
Oh.
And so it's really good to have somebody train and help you the first couple times to do stuff like this. The other thing about doing Akashic work is the masters and the guides of the Akashic record are they're more likely to give you extra information if you're being guided by someone, because the ability to take in the information is deeper, and the guide usually helps you understand it, the person that you're working with. So there are a lot of amazing people out there doing Akashic records work, and I would be honored to help you with that,
Hmm.
take you through a session. It is a lot of fun. And I do it with animals too, which is even more fun. Yeah,
Oh.
well, animals are souls.
Hmm.
So
Exactly.
they're just souls in animal bodies. So
Yeah.
yeah, so we
Oh
work
my
with
God.
them. I know.
I
I
got
do lots of
goosebumps.
stuff.
Even
Yeah.
I feel the same because I have been doing this, that. I have been doing so many things for past 14 years that I feel, oh my God,
Uh-huh.
there's so much more to learn. Where would I stop? I need to stop. But then I find something else to learn. So, okay,
Yes.
um, whoever for our listeners who are
Yeah.
not sure if they are empath or not, and or on their first call with understanding what an empath is, what is your one tip that can help them to move forward in their life so that they can work on their gifts happily?
Oh, this is a big tip. Forgiveness. We have all been through so much stuff in our lives, and holding on to pain, holding on to old traumas, holding on to beliefs about other people, how they hurt you or how they weren't there for you, is the biggest block to stepping into your gifts, because your gifts can't flow through if you're full of pain. And so forgiveness is the greatest gift. And there's lots of ways to do it. You can do it through your religious practice. That works fantastic. You can do it through different types of spiritual practice. I do a technique called quantum change process, which is all about forgiveness on the energetic level. It works on not only the soul level and the mental emotional level, but also clearing all the way down until the cellular memory of your body level. I find that one works the fastest. There's so many ways to clear up old stuff, and forgiveness is the key to starting it all. Because when we're holding on to stuff that we haven't forgiven, and believe me, forgiveness is the gift to you,
Hmm.
not to the people who have harmed you. It's I always say, not forgiving someone is like pouring that person a glass of poison and then drinking it yourself. So um,
Exactly.
Some people call it forgiveness. I also call it clearing your channel, because that channel through your spiritual self down into your body to this physical realm
Hmm.
definitely needs to be cleared. So the first step of that is forgiveness.
Awesome. But
Uh,
forgiveness is so hard to do. I remember it has been a long time that I am trying to forgive a few people, and it is hard process, isn't it? How to make it a little easier? I mean, what is the easiest step to start with?
the easiest step. Ooh, that's a good question. What is the easiest step to forgiveness? Um, hmm. Because it's never really easy, is it? I
Exactly.
think that this is going to sound really difficult to do, but it is the decision. It
Hmm.
is it because getting ready to forgive is a process. Forgiving is a one second decision.
Hmm.
I
Actually,
know.
that
It's same
is.
with it is true, right? Same thing with making a belief. You get ready to believe something for the longest time, but as soon as you believe it, it's a decision to believe it. Um,
Hmm.
so the easiest thing to do is stop making it hard and just do it, because the
Exactly.
benefit is huge, right? The benefit is
Hmm.
huge.
So, if you
Yeah.
have someone in your life whom you want to forgive or whom you need to forgive, as she said, that you need to do it for yourself, just
Mhm.
sit down and write down that yes, I am ready. Take a step ahead, right?
Take a
Because
step.
that is going to help you. Otherwise, you will stay stuck and won't be able to cut the karmas with that person. Because I had been
Yeah.
working on karmas for too long. So we need to let go of those karmas. Okay. So, what is that one gift that you want to give our viewers? That free
Oh,
gift.
I have. Oh, this. I love giving things. So any of you that want to connect with me, I have a fantastic gift for you, and I'll probably give you more than one because I love to give. It's part of who I am. I'm a healer. Healers love to give. We also love to receive, but we really love to give. I wrote a mini ebook. It was in the fall, and it's called "The 9 Truths About Thriving as an Empath Post 2020." And it talks about new the ways that the energy has been shifting. So a lot of empaths right now are struggling. A lot of intuitives are struggling because the energy shifting. You're not alone. You are absolutely not alone. And the ways to protect yourself and the ways to move through it have also changed because the energies have changed. And so this free gift gets you started on learning how things have changed, and will follow with more tips to help you feel more grounded, to help you feel more connected. Some of the tips about clearing your channel are in there. Some of the tips about learning to forgive are in there. And I want to give that to you guys to get you started on your journey, to know that you've got someone to connect with that gets it. And also to be part of like our bigger community and share with each other what we're learning, because the best way to learn about being an intuitive and an empath is to work with a group of people who've been where you've been.
Exactly, exactly. That's what this summit is all about, connecting, holding each other's hand and
Yeah.
grow easily. Because there's so much changed in a post COVID that we need to work on. We are here to lead the world, change the world, heal the world. Oh my
Yes.
God, this is awesome. I got all the goosebumps, and I would love to. That is awesome. And uh, those who are on new to this journey will be able to understand their empathy, their sensitivity to energies. This is an awesome gift, and thank you so much for being here. Thank you for bringing
Oh, you're
in the
so welcome.
gift.
Thank you so much for having me. I can't wait till you and I get to talk some more. I
Yeah.
think we're both on the same path, and I love that you're bringing the science and spiritual together, because the world needs uh, they need those that get both sides of it, because we need to bring that together. I think that is our future path, is
Mm.
understanding that all of this has been taught to us for a reason, bringing all of the mosaic of all the learnings that you've had over your whole life will come together. They will.
Exactly.
It took years for mine to come together. So even though it feels like all of these little pieces, they'll come together into one beautiful mosaic,
Mm.
and you will finally see what you're really here for. And I'm excited to
Exactly.
see how that turns out for you.
Okay, awesome. So, note down, everyone, note down what is the gold nugget in this video so that you can work on those little steps, little gold nuggets, and change your life like forever. So, thank you so much, Angela, for being here. I will connect to you again and we will rock again. So, live in light, enjoy life, and bye bye. Have fun.
Bye. Thanks, everyone.